So, why does mental health matter? What is mental health? And it's a good question. Welcome to the Mental Mary Show, where we chat about mental health. My name is Jen. I have a handful of neurodiversities myself, ranging from autism, ADHD, and depression. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about why mental health matters. So, this is a bit of an overwhelming subject. There are a lot of reasons why mental health matters. And I would encourage you to put your comments down in the comments below. This is not a all-inclusive list, but this is just a few conversations that we are going to be chatting about. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. So let's jump into today's video. So what is mental health? Well, there are lots of ways you could go about describing it, defining it. I'm just gonna go along with the dictionary definition just to get us rolling. It's a person's condition with regard to their psychological and emotional well-being. So then what is the difference between mental health and mental illness? So a mental illness would be a condition that is affecting how you think, your emotion regulation, behavior. Um, Often it creates a distress or problems with functioning. So, what are some strengths of being more open about our emotions? Well, it allows us to bring our whole self into the workplace and to be present. It allows us to adapt because people who have mental health conditions and neurodiversities are highly dedicated individuals. Sure, we have some challenges, like, for example, with depression. There are challenges with feeling interest in things that we had interest in before. There are challenges with insomnia, getting enough sleep, focus. So those are challenges, but there are also amazing strengths. And with the right support, the challenges can be mitigated. Um, and the strengths are so worth it. There's actually an article recent in Scientific American that was talking about the strengths of ADHD and depression, and that they suggested that it could be a evolutionary trait. So ADHD people who are, say, firefighters, for example, they need to move very fast, make decisions quickly, and on to the next. You see a lot of entrepreneurs, CEOs with who may have ADHD or some sort of learning disability as well, because they are fast paced. They need to make decisions quickly. They get hyper focused. And then with depression, most people might assume that if you have depression, that you're not going to want to get out of bed and that it's a debilitating condition without any benefits, and that's actually not the case. So, with depression, it does tend to be slower, but it does allow you to really evaluate, process information, think of things in a different way, and make decisions um, more thoroughly. So, two very, very different neurodiversities, both with great strengths. And so mental health is not a weakness. And the more that we talk about this, and we talk about how it is okay to not be okay. Nobody is a stone giant their entire life. Like, sometimes things go wrong. Maybe it's financial, it's personal, things happen, you know? So, um, from an employer's perspective, be aware that there are strengths to some of these. And that by talking about feelings and talking about mental health challenges, it is going to help the bottom line. It could seem like it's a risk, but there is enough data out there to support that having diversity, not just mental diversity, but whether it's age, racial, gender, and of course also the mental diversity. This all helps making teams make better decisions. It helps productivity, and all of that helps the bottom line. I think that it is easy to assume that because you have a mental health condition or you have a mental illness, that you cannot overcome, or that it is going to hinder your performance in the workplace, ability to show up for a friend. And while any number of those things can be a huge challenge, and depending on the severity, depending on the severity and the condition, it may be incredibly severely debilitating, without a doubt. But mental health is important because it affects how we think, feel, act. And it could be that maybe you don't have necessarily a mental illness. Being aware of and open to talk about mental health makes a big difference in our performance, whether it's to show up for a friend or to show up for work, and how we do good work. We're so ashamed to talk about mental health because if our mental well-being isn't top notch, then there's this fear that, like, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose friends. They're going to think I'm nuts and send me to the loony bin. And while a lot of this has improved over the years, it is still a long way coming. So it's really a win-win. It's scary, and it's a lot of uncomfortable conversations at first. But it's worth it. So I will leave that at that. Mental health matters. It's how we think, feel, act. Caring and talking about mental health is going to help us be better in the workplace, be better as a people, and be better as a company. And no one should be afraid of losing their job because of a mental condition. Your neurodiversities are perfect. And while there are some difficulties that things like therapy and for some medication can really help, having supports and awareness and accommodations in the workplace can go such a long way. These people are worth having around, and I'm not just saying that because I'm one of them. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, what have you, I would love to hear from you. Put all that jazz down in the comments below. Shoot me messages on social media. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mental Mary Media, or you can catch my personal accounts, Nerdy Girl AV, also both on Instagram and Twitter. So without further ado, be kind, be strong, and do great things. Have a good one, everyone. Thank you.